Brandon, welcome to the show. You are now live on the air. We're going to have fun. Today we're talking about breaking free of limiting thinking. And you have a wealth of experience to come from with working with business owners, doing your coaching, doing consulting. You have done a lot of stuff. So before we dive in, let's focus on your past and your history, your journey on how you got to where you are today. Because you've been on the show before, but let's catch everyone back up, okay?
Sure thing, man.
Cool.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So let's talk about the journey. Where have you been, and how did you get to where you are today?
And I started out like pretty much everyone else. I mean, at some point you're just going through life and looking at the results that you're getting, looking what you're creating in life, and either you want something to change, you want more, and or you think things should be a certain way. And I just started following my passion. Big thing was, before all these mentors came up out of the woodwork and, through the internet, and which is great because, you just connect with so many great people because, everyone kind of congregates, right? But, before that, it was listening to audiobooks and just getting in touch with the works of, Deepak Chopra, Tony Robbins, all the guys who are putting good information out there. Robert Kiyosaki on wealth building, that's when I realized, like, hey, I don't know very much in comparison to what's out there in the world, what's knowable, right? Like the more you look into that, the more you look into what's knowable, you realize that you really don't. You could be the most intelligent person in the world, but you still only know a small fraction of all the knowable knowledge in the universe, and you'll never transcend that. Like you can transcend that all your life and learn and be an Einstein, and you're still only going to know what's inside this little box. So there's always things that you don't know. So it really it really opened up that world for me. I started going to different seminars and doing some coaching programs, and went through IPEX program. Highly recommend that. Went through some programs with Landmark. In the professional world, I got involved in consulting and working with large businesses. And it really all just culminates to a point where you reach a certain level of success, and then the interesting thing is that you'll always you're always part of a cycle. So you may reach a certain level of success, and then boom, you realize you look at people who you're following now, and you're like, man, I've only achieved such a small percentage, because the people who you really see. Like if you're following Tai Lopez and you're following whoever, really successful people who are out there sharing information, Grant Cardone, if you're following these people, then, you realize that, hey, there's a whole new level. These are the guys who have really, really made it. So they're very visible, and it's really easy to compare yourself to them. So you have to at some point you have to assess, what is it that you have done? What is it that you can do to bring value to the marketplace, to really establish, your brand, whatever it is you bring of value to this world, and how do you monetize it? If we're talking about wealth building, but since we're talking about, this concept of breaking through limiting thinking, which is awesome, man. I mean, that is really 99% of everything.
Yes.
If not everything. I mean, that is everything, because it comes down to conscious creation, your ability to look. Your situations are never going to be perfect, and this is something that I've had to come to terms with. Your situations will not ever be perfect. You could have everything you want, and you may be unhappy with it. You can have that next level of success, but it's not going to be perfect. So, and it's okay to have the desire. It's good to have the will and the goals and know what you're going after. But you also have to realize that, the enjoyment, the contentment in life is here and now. And it's really hard in this society, because everyone's always chasing. Everyone's go. Everyone's, everyone's chasing their dreams. And if you're not chasing your dreams, then what the hell are you doing? But, seriously.
Yeah, totally.
and it's interesting because there's a lot of people who are just kind of out in life, and they don't even know what they're chasing. They're just if you're discontent, if you're not feeling fulfilled, it's because you're not aligned with your purpose, man. You got to find out what your purpose is. Even if you're not living it, day to day, you got to find what your purpose is until you are living it, because your circumstance is never going to be perfect. So it's always going to get that opportunity to have limiting thinking is always going to be there. You're always going to have the opportunity to be limited in your thinking. You're always going to have the opportunity to think small, to be defeated, to be, knocked down. Those opportunities are always there, man. You could just look the other way, look the other direction, and it'll be there. And in the same context, in the same light, how you defeat that limited thinking. It's the same thing. It's just a choice. You have to make a conscious choice. If you're going to defeat limited thinking, hey, acknowledge the fact that you're honoring a disempowering context, right? You're honoring something in your world of thought that's not empowering you. It's holding you back. You got to find those things and just make the choice to break through.
Gotta weed them out like with like relentlessness, with like, I'm hungry, I'm on a scavenger hunt, like get rid of anything that doesn't serve me and slows me down and stops me.
Yeah, conscious, intentional action.
Yeah.
And you know what? That doesn't always work, because ultimately when you transcend that, or that push, you're pushing really hard to get to the next level. When you transcend that, then really the enlightened way of being, the perfection in life is just embracing the harmonious aspects of what is, right? So things, you may not be where you think you need to be, but embrace it. If it's not destroying you, if it's making you better, you don't need to fight so hard. Sometimes you just need to accept that your circumstances aren't perfect, because they never will be. But sometimes you just need to accept that that's where you are, and that's when you refocus as to what it is you're actually out to create. What is it? What are your goals about? What are your goals? And if you don't know, if you're not chasing your dreams, if you just feel like, man, I'm going day in, day out, I'm not getting anywhere, that is the limiting thinking that you got to break through. That is it. Because there's a lot of people who live that way. Yeah, you may be working 9 to 5. You may be working a job you don't like. It may not pay you enough money. It doesn't matter what the circumstances is. You got to acknowledge that first off, and look at that and say, hey, this is my situation. What am I going to do about it? Because ultimately it's your choice. And a lot of people get stuck in the cycle of choosing defeat. Constantly, day after day, choosing defeat, choosing limitation, choosing lack, choosing the things that aren't working. People just choose it. And all they can do is complain about it, because you got your mind state, you got to take control over it. And I love that. I love the topic of conversation here, Chris. Thank you. Because it's so relevant. I know anyone listening, man, I know it's relevant. Because it's a part of your mind that you can't shut off. At the end of the day, balance and harmony, man. Those are key words in how to weather the storm of life. It's balance and harmony, right? And how do you do that in the most chaotic situation? Well, if you let the chaos take hold, and generate the lack, the negative thinking, the limiting thinking, the limiting belief, you let that stuff take hold. It's so easy. It's so easy to let it take hold and take over and run your life.
So what's the difference? Is it when it takes hold, is it because we're resisting it so much that it has power over us? Or is it like being defeated by it and saying I can't do anything? Because there's an aspect of harmony, right? You want to create harmony with it and not resist it and not fight it, but also not let it dominate us and be victims to it. So how do we find that balance?
Yeah, I think it's really a personal journey, man. I mean, really, the answer to that question is so personal, depending on, people's situations. And a lot of times, yeah, the resistance is huge. It's like, hey, you're resisting change, so this is going to get so loud until you realize that something has to change. It's time for something to change. Sometimes it's just, that's all it is. You don't have, if you stop resisting it and accept it for what it is, and let it go, then you just move on. It's all, the empowered versus disempowered, the limiting versus abundant, and those are just thought patterns. They're just thought patterns, and you can change them through choice. Yes. And this is what's so incredible, is that as human beings, we have the ability to choose our destiny. I've always had this this interesting question of, it's kind of a philosophical question. It's been around, right?
Favorite.
Yeah. So it's the concept of fate versus destiny, right? And you could get into a theosophical question as to, you hear God has given us free will. And at the same time, he knows, you may or may not be religious, but this is the philosophical. I'm just bringing these perspectives to light.
Yes.
Which is, in one perspective, God knows everything that's going to happen. He knows the number of hairs on your head. He knows everything about your destiny. And then you have the philosophical question of fate versus destiny. So what is fate and what is destiny? And I believe, just through my experiences and my research, I believe that fate is something that becomes of somebody who does not take control of their life. And so God has granted you an anointing, an ability to be someone who is first of all, you're made in the image of God, so you are a creator in the sense that you have the ability to create your experience. And so, and really, in the fundamental misnomer there is the idea of choice. I think I bring this up every time I talk to you, because we talk about the Matrix and the movie The Matrix. That's a deciding factor in the movie. It's a deciding factor in a lot of the work that we've done, is that human beings have the ability to choose. And you could argue whether or not humans versus animals have that. I believe animals have choice too, maybe not to the level of intelligence that we have. And so it comes down to, what is this philosophical discussion of fate versus destiny? And I believe you can create your destiny by taking control of your choices. You take control of your choices. And what does it mean? It means to take control of your thinking. It means to take control of your actions. It means to, stick to your guns. If you have goals, if you're out chasing your dreams, figure out what it is you need to do. And if it's not working, choose something different. Choose something that's going to work.
How do you know if it's just a matter of doing the right actions for long enough to see the results versus this isn't working?
Again, man, I think that's an individual thing. Yeah, you bring up a good point, and that's, a lot of people fail before they try. A lot of people just fail before they try. Right? Like, so many people are resigned to the concept of failure because the social environment that we built, this mind has been built in a social environment, right? Like, everyone's individual, everyone has these individual ways of being, but the social conditioning is powerful. And there's so many aspects of that either control you or give you power. And that's really the fundamental difference. I'm going to tie this all back together, because that's the fundamental difference in having limiting thinking and really breaking through and doing incredible things, is that you have these ideas, and either you're living out this disempowered idea or you're living out this empowered idea. And you look at people who are really successful, they're living out some empowered idea. Yeah, it doesn't matter whether it's endowed by God or it's endowed by whatever force they believe it is. It's just simply the fact that they're living out this empowered ideal. Wow. It may not be right all the time. It may be, in some cases, it might be pathological. It might be, you never know. Right. But the point is, the difference between success and failure is that you're living out some ideal, and it's through choice and it's through conviction that's who you are and that's what you're going to do. And that's really, and even at the core of that, it's a choice.
Yes.
It's all a choice. Why does some people make it and other people's not? Well, I think people give up too easily, for one. And, number two, I don't know that we always know what we're meant to do.
Right.
Sometimes you may have had some great successes, but things are always changing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've got to move on to the next thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and it seems like people learn a lot about themselves through the journey, through the failures. And I think there comes a time where we're coming into a very conscious age where people are aware of the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions that they're feeling. And the more we're in tune that we are with that gut feeling or the higher self feeling and intuition and voice that's talking to us, the more that we can listen to that and follow that guidance, the better off we'll be, the faster that we'll get to that success. But there's people who might spend 20, 30 years not listening to that voice, not listening to that higher self, and that's why they experience all that challenge, and they aren't willing to work on themselves. They're stubborn. They want to be right. All these reasons, and the people who succeed the fastest and they know when it's the right time to keep going is because they listen to their higher self and they're like, this feels good. I feel like I'm going in the right direction. I feel like I'm on track.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a good point too, is the fact that when you're kind of like just hitting the cycle of insanity where you're doing the same thing over and over and things aren't working. Yeah. I mean, that's just one of those scenarios where you probably just need to acknowledge the fact that maybe you're wrong. I mean, and this is hard to do because we always want to be right. We always want to know everything. I mean, I don't know about, maybe not everybody has these personality traits, but I feel like generally human beings are egocentric, right? So there's this. It's like just talk to the average person and they'll probably talk to you as if the world revolves around them. I mean, that's egocentrism is I think maybe one of the most fundamental human conditions that there is, which is why there are so many fascinating encounters and scenarios out in the world. And I apologize if this is kind of a crazy tangent, but
it's perfect.
Yeah, but yeah, and that's the thing, is that sometimes life is a tangent, and it's all about the harmony that you can bring to it, no matter how much chaos is there, man. You just, maybe you're not meant to be successful yet. I mean, some people are fighting so hard for something, right? Like for meet the right person, the right amount of money, the right job, the right career, the right house, the right whatever. Maybe you don't need that yet. And if you want it, you have to create it.
Yeah,
you get it because it's a choice. Yeah. Once you choose to be firmly convicted about something, that's the most powerful motivation you have. Nothing else will motivate you. If you go on any other form of motivation, at some point you'll probably fail. Or if you don't fail, there will probably be negative consequences. You have to be firmly convicted that what you want and who you are is completely aligned with the highest good of all. Honestly, should be aligned with your soul, with your life's purpose. That alignment is key, because you could have
everything.
You could have everything, man.
Yeah. And I just really want to say, Brandon, thank you for presencing me to this conversation. I'm loving it. I'm like on the edge of my seat, having a lot of fun. And for everybody who's out there watching right now, this is gold. And I want you to recognize that and celebrate that, because Brandon's given us some incredible information and insight and perspectives. And if you're valuing this, type in gold in the comment box right now, GOLD, because this is gold. And it's very, very valuable. And Brandon, seriously, thank you. I'm having a lot of fun in this conversation. It's very, very, very powerful.
Love it, man. Awesome. It wouldn't be possible without you, my friend. So
we do it together, man. We do it together.
Yeah, you created me here, man.
Yes, we both did, man. We both channeled each other, and God, source, creator, whatever, we attracted it. Awesome. So what I was gonna say is, for that alignment, for that energy. When we feel good, when we focus on feeling good and focusing on the things that make us feel good, like maybe it's money, maybe it's the success, maybe it's being able to prove our parents right or wrong or whatever, right? What are the things that make us feel good? And then constantly re-choosing, right? Because this limiting thinking has probably been conditioned into people for an entire lifetime, constantly re-choosing to let go and surrender that resistance and just give in to the flow of the universe and trust that it's all going to work out. And it is perfect timing. We are in the right place at the right time all the time. The universe is always lining up for us. What do you have to say about all of that? It's like, that's my philosophy on life lately.
I have to say is rewind it and listen to what you just. Yeah, I mean that was it, man. I mean you nailed it, bro.
Thank you.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, really. You know what? You know, the mind, the life, the human condition, man. We like to make everything complicated. You know what? I mean, it's kind of an interesting balance, because if you look at how math is, think of sacred geometry, or how math is really endowed in nature, and you might think that it's such a complex study, it's so logical, it's so I mean it's just so complex, right? And in one sense, yeah, I mean life is extremely complex, and nature is just incredibly complex. If you get into the the complexities of the golden ratio and the Fibonacci sequence, you get into the complexities of all these things in life, and in nature, really, because we're a part of nature. We're not separate from nature. And this is, and I think this is why there's a lot of struggle too, is because people try to be separate from nature, but you're not. And you can't, and we can't be, no matter how many walls we build around ourselves and the earth, and deny that the earth should be protected, and that it needs our help because we've been destroying it. But that's a different tangent.
Which we'll have to go to sometime. I'd love to talk about that.
We'll jump into it. I just want to finish this idea that in nature you can look at like the mathematical precision of the golden ratio on a sunflower, for example. I'm just giving you the vision. It's extremely complex. Not everybody even has the kind of mathematical understanding required to quantify the meaning behind it, right? And at the same time, sometimes our mind goes there. Our mind goes into deep analysis and really digs into the complexity. And the solution at the end of the day might be something just really simple. Because sometimes, I believe that the reality of nature in that concept, that is one polarity of it, is that complexity. On the other polarity is the extreme simplicity and perfection and harmony. And so we have to understand that is fundamentally the truths of life and existence that will give you clarity in whatever that you're dealing with. That clarity is priceless when you understand that it comes from balance and harmony. Wow. And those are things that you create. I mean, you have to create it, and some people just are addicted to it. The other thing is sometimes people are addicted to their bullshit. Sometimes people are just addicted to it, and you can see it. And you can see it, right? Some people, they hate their job so much, they're addicted to it. They have so many issues in their relationship, they're addicted to it. They couldn't change it if they wanted to. It's almost like that. Those are the types of breakthroughs where people have to have massive revelations and really have to understand that they are the cause behind those experiences. And that's where it comes down to taking control of your destiny. You got to take control of your destiny. If you don't take control of your life, create your destiny, then that's where you're left to fate. And fate is what the world chooses for you. Beyond that, it's what you choose for the world. So your destiny is what you choose for the world. Fate is what the world chooses for you. So if you're unconscious, if you're not being conscious about what you're choosing, the world chooses that for you. The world chooses fate for you, and that's what you get. This is just a theory. I'm not saying this is absolute truth. I'm just saying that this is, contextually in that philosophical quandary of fate versus destiny. You can create your destiny through choice. Otherwise, I mean, your life's going to go on, whether or not you live your destiny. Life's going to go on. So the alternative is that you're going to be like leaves blowing in the wind. Just let's see where it's like, and there's a balance. Yeah. It's a tough one, man. It's a tough, because it's like going against the river current, right? Sometimes you got to go with the flow. Other times you got to swim upstream. Yeah. There's no black and white answer to anything in life, but because honestly, it still comes down to centering on the harmonious aspect of, just being in harmony. It's the discord. It's when we grab a hold of these thoughts that create discord. Yep. It's those limiting thoughts that we when you buy into a limiting thought in your life, it can create a lot of discord, and it's all a function of you owning it. It's all a function of owning it, just like people are extremely successful. So let's apply that to some functional knowledge, which is, if you want to be extremely successful, you've got to grab onto this empowered context, or this extreme ideal that we talked about earlier, this extreme ideal that people latch onto and use as a means to become successful. Because it's the only thing that really separates, the successful person from the one who's not. It's that the people who are successful, they've latched onto something and they own it, and that's their motivation. Yeah. Whether it's justified or not, it's really irrelevant. We're talking about a formula for a human being to move out and create success in some area of your life. You've got to own it. Yeah. And when you do, man, I mean, things can come and test you, but if you really own it, and a lot of times we're tested because we don't really own it. But if you own that empowered context that you need to get to the next level, and something comes and challenges that, it doesn't stand a chance. Damn. It doesn't stand a chance. And then conversely, if you face a little adversary, and you're like, yeah, you're right. There goes, I have this strong conviction, but you're right. There it goes. Exchange for that disempower, whatever the disempowered or limiting belief or whatever it is, I mean, I'm not giving absolute truth here. These are really just functional tools in living.
Well, it's perspectives. It's perspectives. I think that's really at the core of this whole conversation. Is everything is a perspective. What works for you? Try it on, wear it, see if it fits. Is upstream, swimming upstream, is that what's fitting for you right now, or is it going with the flow? Everybody's at a different spot in their life, and they've accumulated different experiences that have them be, do, and act in a certain way, right? They like are a certain way, and I think each of us is on our own personal journey. And I know for me personally, one of my biggest challenges, or growth opportunities, I should say, has been discovering how to not have something needing to be wrong in my life at all times, right? So let's say I've been at times where I had my finances, they were like through the roof. It was like awesome, but I was like unhappy with myself, unhappy in terms of finances. Maybe I didn't have a girlfriend, wasn't, whatever. I was partying too much, but my finances were great, but every other area of my life sucked. So then there's other times in my life where I'm like super duper happy and awesome, and then my finances suck. And maybe I have a great relationship, or I'm talking to a girl, or whatever it might be. So it's like, for me, one of the big challenges has been growing to the point where there doesn't need to be something wrong, like as a need, as a fundamental reason why, like for it to be a game, for there to be a challenge, for things to be fun, for life to be interesting, there has to be something wrong. I know that was a belief that I held on to for a long time, and now I subscribe to everything can be perfect. Everything can be all lined up. And I know that there's a perfect imperfection, right? It's perfectly imperfect. And so that's the balance I'm finding now. It's like, well, I just want things to be perfect all the time. And if things happen differently, I'm okay with that. I'm not attached to things being perfect. I'm attached to me being able to go with the flow and at any moment recommit to things being perfect from here on out. Things being in perfect flow, in perfect timing.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the most fundamental aspects of social conditioning is that addiction to drama and negativity. Yep. I mean, it's pervasive. It's pervasive, and it is what it is. I mean, we talked about that. I think last time we talked is it's just you just have a bunch of unconscious, you have a bunch of people, you know, imposing their will unconsciously onto other people, and it creates conflict. I mean, it's just that is in harmony. That's in harmony. Every time it happens, it's in harmony with the universe. It's just that if you're letting it happen to you, or you're letting it happen to someone else, is that you're more engaged in that than you are in harmony, and that's something that you have to choose to change. And yeah, these are great topics, man. I mean, did anyone drop comments in? Do you have any comments?
Let's see. I know we had Shamika said we should tweet this, and then I'm pulling them up right now.
Tweak it.
Tweak it.
Tweak it.
Tweak it.
Let's do it.
Do it right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was the only one right now, but I know Shamika says it's gold and excited. Laura said it's gold, so people are loving it, man.
Thank you.
Yes.
Love it. I love it. It is gold, man.
It is. It
and
is.
Gold is high vibration, man. Gold is high vibration. You know, gold is the Egyptians wore gold. You know, it's harmony.
Yes.
It creates harmony. It's to them it was a way to connect to the energy of God. Because it was, you know, it was so beautiful, and it was so, you know, that's in one sense that's what they believe made them royal. That's what made them have this concept of a pharaoh, which is you know, basically a divine ruler. You know, I mean, and so that's the same concept. That's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily right or true, and maybe it was true and maybe it wasn't true. We don't know. And if you're arguing that fact, just consider the fact that nobody knows, because we can't. And even if you think you know, you can't, because there may be something that you don't know that would alter your conviction about that. But again, it comes down to if you're convicted that something is right, then for you maybe it's right, and for someone else maybe it's wrong. But you know, this is an interesting concept, because to the Egyptians, they believed, you know, that the Pharaoh was God, and he was an earthly ruler. So, you know, either you know, I don't know, whatever it is. The point is, they you know, you have to have a firmly held conviction about something to achieve. Look what they achieved. They built the pyramids, and you know, that's a great mystery, and there's a lot of ideas on how they did that. Right. One of the things was, I don't remember who I was listening to, was maybe it was DeMartini, who said that, you know, people think that it was built on slave labor, and he was purporting and suggesting that, you know, actually everyone who participated in it was inspired by some sort of astronomical vision. There was some vision that the people shared, and because of that, everybody had buy-in and everybody participated in it, and it was like an honor. It was like a life's work to be a part of it. And you think about it. I mean, look at the pyramids today, right? Would you have if you were living in ancient Egypt 12,000 years ago or whatever it was, you know, would you feel honored today to know that you were one of the builders?
Oh my freaking God, yes.
Inspiration. So people are, you know, so you've got however many people got firmly convicted about you know, the vision. And I'm not saying the vision was right or wrong. It just was. And so it's sometimes you have to cease the analysis on right and wrong, because we look at, you know, right and wrong all the time. We're always looking, you know, is that true, or really, like, are you speaking the truth, or is that not true? Or, you know, we're constantly assessing and analyzing, and that's fine. Yeah. But, you know, it's really to reach the transcendent mind. You have to realize that, you know, those are all limitations. Those are all limitations in judgment. You know, and so it's really freeing. It's really freeing to focus on the harmony, to focus on the centered approach, which is that you know, there are two sides to every story. You know, there are two sides to every you know, everything you're going through, every scenario. So you know, yeah, I mean, and so these are all philosophies and tools that you can use on an individual basis, because people are dealing with different, you know, different challenges that you know, they're different. Each scenario is different, you know.
Yes.
but it's really a powerful approach to helping people find that balanced perspective, because without the balanced perspective, very difficult to really have the breakthrough, because you're either going to be latching onto that negative polarity or you're not latching onto the positive polarity, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of my greatest gifts has been openness. Openness to receive, openness to experience, openness to find out, you know? Like, I don't know, but we're going for the ride. We're going to be here in this moment, be present, and heck, I'm just going to make the most of what I have right now with the mindset, with the principles I have. And if someone shows up, then they have something to teach me, or they have something they feel is better, I'm going to listen. You know, I'm going to hear them out. Like, what do you got to share? Like, what's the experiences that have led you to this conclusion? And how can I like be open to that message being delivered at the perfect time, perfect place for my life and where I'm at and what I think I'm supposed to be achieving and driven to do and grow and love and connect and impact the world and stuff.
Absolutely, man. I mean, and that's it. And you've created a platform for it, you know. I mean, without your show, and I don't know anyone who does a 12-hour live stream and has all the. I mean, it's just incredible, man. I mean, you know, I love it. I love it. I just props to you, major props to you, man. And you know, Chris Burns, Burn It Up Coaching, man. You're this is it. I mean, because you know, without that, I mean, I wouldn't have a platform to come share on. I mean, I could share on my podcast, but that's you know that's more of the reverse role where you know kind of you know so but that's the same concept is you know you're creating a platform for transformation where people can come and you know and really share their knowledge, and someone maybe needed to hear what I had to say, you know. That's the part that I love about it, and I love it.
It's twofold, you know, because whenever we speak our truth, whenever we paint a vision of what is most dear and important to us, and that's what I really strive to achieve with every single guest who comes on the show. What are you most passionate about teaching about right now? What is most exciting? What's the message that you're sharing with the world, and how can we line that up so that it impacts the audience? And that's one thing. When people get to share that, that's their soul's music, man. It doesn't matter if there's 1 or 1,000 or 10,000 people listening. It doesn't matter, because they get to be them and share what is absolutely most important, most like fulfilling, enlightening, raising their vibe, right? It gets them into that joy state, into that highest consciousness, in my experience. Hopefully I allow people, I create the space for people, whoever's a guest on the show, to get to that level. And then for me personally, it's like I get to be the organizer of it and deliver all this great information to the audience, for everyone out there who's listening. Like, this is what I'm so passionate about giving to you, is access to these people, and I get to learn along the way. I love learning, and so that's why it's such a privilege and a gift, man.
Yeah, and you know what? You make a really intriguing point. That's perfect timing. Yeah. You know, nobody's an expert at being you other than you. And so, you know, really the only thing that the world is lacking is your authentic self. Whoever you are, whoever you're being. This is really what it comes down to. Who are you being? Your results are all a function of who you're being. And who you're being is a choice. And if you don't like who you're being, choose to change it. Choose to be someone else. Nobody can tell you who you can, you know, nobody can tell you that you are. And, you know, I mean, if someone gives you advice and says you're kind of being this way and maybe you should change that, and, you know, take advice from people, because, again, we're rarely right when it comes to ourselves. When it comes, you know, when it comes from that egocentric perspective, but yeah, what the world needs is authentically you. The world needs is you as your authentic self, because nobody else can do it. Nobody else can do that job.
I liked what you said there about, you know, rarely are we the people who are the best at seeing that, right? And I think what's really great about limiting thinking, especially, one of the things that I can give you guys is, and girls, whoever's listening, is be out in reality. Stop being in your head about what you think and how you think life is, and actually check in with people. Ask people, hey, how do I show up around you? What's it like being around me? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? You know, if I walked into a room, what would everybody say about me, if I couldn't hear them, what would be that conversation that goes on? And that limiting thinking that we think a certain way, we think the world is a certain way. When we get over in other people's conversations that they're having over in their real experience to them, 100% real, right? And we may think it's completely crazy, but the fact is that we cared enough to check out what's going on over there, and we do that enough times with enough different people, we can really start to master ourselves, how we show up, and start using that as like kind of a reflector. Hey, is this who I want? I got from 9 out of 10 people that I'm a jerk. Do I want to keep showing up like that? Okay, I'm going to shift some things. And then, okay, 4 out of 10 people say I'm a jerk. Okay, 1 out of 10 people say I'm okay, great. Nobody said I'm a jerk. Awesome. We're making progress.
I mean, that's part of transcending those limitations too.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. I mean, yeah, there's really the most powerful thing is check in with the people around you, check in with the people in your life, because, until you're in someone else's world, you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
You, in fact, if you're not checking in with people, if you're not checking in with other people's world, you got no clue. I mean, you're just in,
fantasy land.
Hey, I've lived this way, man. I mean, most people do. Most people live in their own world, their own little bubble, and they don't. It is what it is. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and that's where that whole social conditioning things comes from, because everybody responds to being out of that bubble in different ways, and so that's. That's always fascinating to see how people, grow and develop through life in that scenario. And you also have to realize that most people are not developed in a way to go and do that. Most people are not developed in a way to go check in. Hey, Chris, how am I doing, man? Like, how am I showing up for you? Like, is this working for you? Hey, I've been feeling this way. How's, what do you think about that?
Yeah, and then someone gives you're a jerk. Oh, what the fuck? What'd you say?
Well, and that's egocentrism, and that's exactly the egocentrism. So the thing that we should always be thinking of, especially in this day and age, man, is how can we transcend our egocentrism? Because that's the biggest trap there is, man, is the egocentric trap. You're important in God's eyes because you're created in His image. You are unique. You're special and unique, and the world needs you authentically, you, to show up as you authentically. And simultaneously, this is just bringing in that whole theme of balance and harmony. At the same time, you're one of 7 billion. So think of that. You're incredibly powerful. You're, as a human being, you're incredibly unique. You bring incredible thoughts and perspectives to the table, and simultaneously, you're very small in comparison to the grand scheme of things, because you're one of 7 billion, and beyond that, we're 7 billion human beings in comparison to an entire planet or an entire galaxy, depending on how. Beyond that universe, however big you want to go. Yeah. But that goes to the whole thing about looking after our Earth and protecting nature, and we need to be good stewards of that, because I don't think we're going to get another home unless they really find a way to colonize Mars, and then this is just ludicrous. These are all ludicrous. I mean, it's ludicrous that we spend hundreds of billions of dollars on a space program to try and colonize a planet to get away from the one that we've destroyed. Well, what's the alternative? Go inhabit another planet until that one's destroyed. I mean, let's get real. It's really, we're the problem in that scenario. And, it's like, we're all willing participants, because we all live in the same world, and we all share the same resources and the same capabilities, especially in the information age. We share. There's no excuse for ignorance. I mean, there's people in third world countries, in Syria, with cell phones and internet access still. I mean, there's honestly, there's just no excuse. So, yeah, I mean,
I want to say something real quick. What if we had the perspective that we did so good on this planet that let's go do what we did here to more planets? What?
Now you're getting like that's like sci-fi, man. Star Wars in the background. That's exactly right. I mean, that's powerful though. That's powerful.
That's a fucking vision, dude. That's a freaking vision.
An astronomical vision, man. Wow. I guarantee you. You know what? If you dedicated your life to that vision,
wow.
You make a difference, man.
Wow.
You make a difference.
I'm writing that down.
Take vision, man. Take that vision and run with it.
Yes.
And then at the same time, you realize that, okay, it's your vision versus 7 billion other people's vision. But the thing is, 6.9 billion of them don't know what their vision is and can be changed.
Yeah. Very true.
So,
very true.
Yeah, I love it, man. Hey, I'm gonna turn the light on here for you because
cool.
it's got a little dark out. So
I'm writing this down. This is gold. I think I just found out my life's purpose. What if we did so good here that we?
Hey, man, if that was my life's purpose, I don't know if that helped very much, but that's a big vision, man. It's a big purpose, and you know what? Hey, you know what they say is shoot for the stars, and if you fall short, at least you hit the moon.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
That's a big vision, man. I love it because you know what? It's like, look, it's leave. Let's leave. What if we did? What if we left this planet better off than what if everybody just woke up suddenly and realized, hey, if we continue down this path, there's going to be nothing left.
Yeah.
There's going to be nothing.
Yeah, no.
There won't be anything.
Yeah.
And then what if everybody caught that vision globally and said, let's make this world, let's leave this world better than how we came in. Let's make this world better than how we came in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's that's not just life changing. That's transcending. That's transcending the boundaries of everything that we created in life in the past 50 generations of humankind or however long. Again, it's powerful. And look, the Egyptians did it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had that astronomical vision, and they built the pyramids.
Mm-hmm.
They inspired people through a vision, is what we really purport happened.
Yeah.
And of course, we don't know, but if you really get into the context of it, it's certainly more believable than the conception of slavery. Mm-hmm. Although, I mean, maybe people would argue theosophically that certain groups of people were enslaved by the Egyptians, and maybe that was the case, and they probably didn't buy into the vision. So, and that's like any good movie. You're gonna have characters who antagonists, protagonists, or adversaries. So not everyone's gonna buy that vision. But that doesn't mean you should stop. It doesn't mean you should have it.
Right. Wow,
that's powerful, Chris. Man, that's big, man. Yeah. What if we left this world? Is it even possible at this point? And you really have to believe it is.
Yeah, it's a straight up miracle.
Right. And it's still possible.
Yeah.
But what if we did? What if we inspire? What if we inspired globally everyone on this planet to leave the world better off than how we received it?
Wow.
For future generations.
Wow.
Big, man. It's a big vision. It's a global vision.
Well, it's like any vision, the recipe for a successful vision is it's bigger than yourself. And
Absolutely.
This is like a bigger than myself and ourselves. And I think what's important is that we continue to play it out in our minds. What would that be like? And feel that, and when we are generating that energy from our heart, from our head, from our beingness, and we enroll other people into that beingness, into that energy field that we generate, and create a global energy of that, it will happen.
Yeah, and this is I love tying it together.
Yeah.
So let's apply this to that concept of fate versus destiny.
Yes.
So this is it. This is a message of hope and a warning, to future generations. But it's really to everyone here now, because hey, look, the fate of humanity. I mean, this is like, I mean, you could create Star Wars created a movie out of it, right? Yeah. You could create a movie out of it. The fate of humanity is destruction. Like oil pipelines and fracking and just destroying the world's resources until everything's barren and everybody's suffering. That's the fate of humanity. Wow. If we don't take control.
Wow.
And then our destiny, this is all a choice. This is why it's fundamental It's a fundamental choice, and it's also fundamental to have people buy into a vision or be able to sell people on a vision. And even if it's not selling it, but it's really inspiring. It's really generating the inspiration behind the vision, because the alternative is, say we inspire at least half of 7 billion people to buy into the idea of, and say nothing in your life has to change other than you have to do one thing that leaves the world better off than the way it came in. And if everybody on the planet did that, then you have this astronomical vision of, like you said, maybe we actually create a destiny for humankind where we impart our knowledge and we build things that are useful, and we utilize nature the way that it's intended, and we go, instead of inhabiting up another planet to escape the one we destroyed, we've done things so well here that we can go replicate it and continue to advance. Yeah, it's a big vision.
Oh my God.
You can own it, man. You can own it.
Wow.
Yeah. It's big. It's big. It's big, and it's just an idea. And so that's the point. Yeah. That's really the point. Is it's just an idea. Because for some of you who are saying, this sounds insane, like this sounds crazy. There's going to be naysayers who say, you guys are full of whatever. Even talking about this. But my point is, it's just an idea. Yeah. And it's like Inception. There's, it's what is the most powerful force in the universe, or whatever the line is. It's an idea. It's an idea. Why? Because there's so many people who achieved greatness through an idea. I mean, I used the Steve Jobs example because it's so like, as he said, he's going to put a dent in the universe. He put a dent in the universe, all right. And what it was is he caught the idea that to create something is like, hey, he stumbled upon something and figured out how to use it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love.
There's a quote real quick. There's a quote. There's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come.
Yeah, I believe that was in the Inception quote.
Yes.
And someone else said it before then. Yes. And yeah, that's exactly it.
Freaking crazy.
Hey, maybe the time has come for this one, man.
Deal.
Who in their right mind would say no to a simple challenge? This is a simple challenge. Who would say no? Hey, do one thing. If anything, if you only do one thing in your life to leave this world better off than when you came in, if you only did one thing. Now, if you want to catch the vision, do as much as you can.
Wow.
But if everyone in the world only did one thing to make this world better off, a better place.
How can we create a viral challenge for this?
Hey, man, it's already done.
Man,
make it a theme. Make it a theme. Bring it up to your other guests. Talk about it. Yes. Make it your thing, man.
Yes.
I mean, I love it. Wow. I love it, dude. It's transformational. You can transform the whole planet by people getting. We need this.
Yes.
There's a lot of people suffering. Yeah. Life is filled with suffering, right? Not always, not for everyone, but there's a lot of people suffering, and it's a powerful vision.
Wow.
And through inspiration, through owning an empowered context, that's an empowered context, folks. For you, if you're saying it's cheesy or it's unrealistic or whatever, that's a disempowered context. and if you own it, then it will be true for you, and it will be truth, and it will resonate with you true throughout your reality, and that's harmonious for you. But if you respond to the fact that it's a limiting belief, and acknowledge that maybe you don't know something, and that what I'm saying has some truth to it, then you can be a part of the vision. You can buy into the vision. It's just all it is. I mean, it's like pay it forward, or what is it? The kindness, pass it on, kindness. Random acts of kindness.
Yes.
But I love how this turned out, man. I love how we tied everything together.
It was like, okay, so we're like breaking through limiting thinking, and it's like, this is totally breaking through limiting thinking.
Yeah, I mean, how else do you get to this concept of, hey, this is real? By the way, this is real. For anyone who thinks this is absurd, there are companies looking at colonizing Mars. NASA's been in Hawaii for I don't know how many years, a couple of years, preparing to colonize Mars, training. So for anyone to say it's unrealistic, all I would say is it other people don't think so.
Yeah, well, there's that, and suspend disbelief. Suspend disbelief for a second. I'm not saying don't for a second, right? Temporarily suspend disbelief and play out a scenario of what would it be like if, okay? And then there's also the scenario of, well, there's no freaking way. Stop dreaming. Okay, play out that scenario. Which one do you want to choose? Right? We have that power of choice.
And exactly. That's that last one you mentioned. That's an extremely disempowered context.
Yeah.
And so now the challenge there is, look at where else in your life you do that. Where else in your life do you have this extreme doubt or this extreme questioning of your capabilities, of your of whatever it is? Where do you have this negativity and these doubts? And realize that you're choosing that. And that if you chose to think differently, you could. And when you do, you latch on to that empowered, whatever the polar is, or preferably just have a balanced perspective. But, honestly, I think to be successful, you have to latch on to an imbalanced perspective on something that's, extremely inspirational or some sort of, there has to be some charge to the energy, to the thought that you're, being motivated by.
Yeah, too. That or like numbness, tranquilized, steady state mediocrity. It's like, or so I could go a little bit above mediocrity. Things will be pretty good, but like, why go for pretty good? I'm going for the best. If I'm gonna live on this earth and I'm gonna have one life, why anything less than 100% is like it's a disgrace kind of thing. It's the
fate.
Yeah. It's just like
it's being overtaken. It's just being overtaken by circumstances.
Yeah.
And that's really what develops those disempowered thought forms. It's just being overtaken by your circumstances. Oh, that can never happen. The resignation. Oh, that's just the way it is. Now it's not the way it is if I'm facing it, because guess what? I'm going to tell you the way it is for me, and it's not the same way that it is for you. So, there's going to be some shifting energies, and some people may experience that as conflict. But the best way to do it is to synthesize, synergize with people, and really try and connect on, a level where the transformation occurs without their knowledge of it. In some cases, it's like you need to transcend certain people's way of being, or you need to transcend certain things, where people would typically respond in conflict, but they're almost like mystified by how synergistically you've communicated and transformed their reality to avoid that conflict. And
wow.
I think we certainly broke through the limited whatever limited. Hey, if you've got a limited limited way of thinking right now, put it in the comments. I want to know what it is.
Yes, let us know.
Anyone, like how many people we got right now?
We got 4 people.
4 people, all right. So they're always jumping on and off, right?
Yep.
Like you're live all day, but you end up getting thousands of views.
Yeah. Yes.
But if is anyone stuck on a limiting belief? And if not, if nobody sends anything, then what's the positive? What's your goal? What dream are you chasing? What's the extreme positive that you're latching onto as your source of motivation?
Yes, and I have Denora, who is supposed to be reporting in for the accountability challenge, or your accountability assignment. Denora, I just wanted to acknowledge you. You're able to finish 5 texts. It was a great challenge. Thanks a lot. You were awesome. So thank you, Denora, for letting us know. And this conversation with Brandon is super duper awesome. So thank you for reporting in, and I'll definitely shoot you a message, and we can talk about how you're going to keep fulfilling on that, because Denora has a big vision as well, and I'm committed to helping you out with that, Denora. So Denora, why don't you share your vision if you're still there? Type in your vision of what you want to create and accomplish, and for everybody else who's just joining, type in a vision, or if there's some limiting thinking that you've been stuck with, go ahead and type that in. Really, this is just an opportunity to share, and I think being vulnerable, being open, being okay with typing in your stuff, whatever that is. Maybe you're dealing with the stuff of I'm not enough. Maybe you're dealing with the stuff of, you know, this isn't worthy of being shared. Maybe you're dealing with the stuff of whatever you're dealing with. That's more limiting thinking. So this is an opportunity to let go of that.
Yeah, jump in and be part of the transformation.
Yeah.
And it's just
just play.
I mean, we only
like,
got 4 people listening at this very moment. We got 6.9996 billion more at some point.
Yes, we'll have to recruit them.
It's 1,000. I mean, you'll get a couple thousand views on this video. So it's just, you've been live streaming since what time did you start live streaming?
9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Yep.
Man. You work more hours than the average person just live streaming and helping people. There's people who work at Burger King only work 8 hours a day. And they don't help anybody.
Yes.
No offense. and Burger King can be, that was just a generic term.
Yes. Laura, so we have Laura said fear of failure is her limiting thinking.
Okay. Fear of failure. That's a big one. I know you can speak to that, Chris, because, fear is one thing, but failure is, man, I think a lot of people who are afraid of failure are really more afraid of success. Really more afraid of success.
Yeah.
So the first thing is look at the failure, accept the failure. What if you did fail? And you know what? Here, this is the easiest way to balance this perspective of fear of failure. The easiest way to balance this. If you let the fear of failure stop you, you've already failed. So if you let the fear of failure stop you, you've already failed. Right? So now you should really be afraid. Afraid to not stop fearing failure. You should be afraid to not take action and just go for it. I love it. It's the truth.
Wow.
It's the truth, right?
That was brilliant. I love that. Perspective.
Thank you for sharing that, Laura.
Thank you, Laura. She said truth.
Amen.
Yeah.
So what is it? So Laura, what are you afraid of? Not what are you afraid of failing at, but what is it that you're out to create that has you feeling the fear? What is it? What's your vision? What are you out to create?
Yeah, it's good. Good conversation. Love it.
Amen.
The vision will. When the vision is strong enough, the obstacles disappear, and
they don't even exist.
And
transcendence.
Yeah,
it's transcendent. You transcend the obstacles.
Yeah.
I wish we could go back and like revisit this whole conversation because it's been so powerful. It's incredibly powerful. I mean, because what was it that we touched on was
talked about the fate versus destiny. Talked about pyramids, pharaohs. We talked about
all over the world,
leaving the planet better than when we found it. We talked about failure. We talked about harmony and perfectly imperfect, the perfect design. We talked about trusting our higher selves, when to go upstream, when to go with the flow. We talked about a lot of stuff.
The hour of power, man.
Yeah, hour of power, baby. So
love it.
We had Denora said, I've been working for a few years creating sustainable resources to help other people. And she was actually on earlier. She's talking today about her greeting cards. And maybe she said this, my dream is to empower more people to believe in themselves and to help each other to make the difference in other people. This is one of the texts that she was able to write, and then she's going to post that. What's up, Sarah Bossy? We have 7 people in the window now, the live. We're going through the hour of power. It's attracting. Our energy of power is attracting.
It's been a good one too, Chris. I mean, and if you haven't been listening, make sure you go back and watch.
Gosh. This is gold. Sarah, you have to listen to this. Sarah's going to be on the show next week too. So Sarah, definitely go back and listen to this. And I'm absolutely putting this on YouTube. I'm going to give it to you and give you the audio and all that kind of stuff, dude.
Absolutely. I love it. Thank you. it's transformational, man. Look, if you take hold of a vision, and sometimes it's just listening to someone else's vision. If you take hold of the vision and suspend the limiting belief, suspend the doubt, and stop honoring the disempowering context, anything can change for you. You know, any situation can change. You got to realize that you are choosing this creation, whatever it is you're creating in your life. You're choosing it right now. You're choosing it.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
choose wisely, right?
Yeah,
it's
like
choose wisely.
whether it's conscious or unconscious, right? Because you're here in this moment, you chose it. You chose the actions that you chose. Now, from here, you can make a new choice and not have to experience, if you're experiencing unwanted, you don't have to experience this any longer. Or you might have to do it for a little bit longer, but you can make a new choice to not have to do that any longer. But it's just accepting, like we were talking about earlier, accepting where you are and it's all perfect, and then making a new choice from there. And then we also have, Shamika said, my limiting thinking is not being supported. Is not being supported. So Shamika, I'm not sure what you mean by that. My limited thinking is not being supported.
Like she feels like she's not being supported?
Oh, my limiting thinking is I'm not feeling supported
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Great. So what I was just about to say was the fact that, and once you make a new choice, once you make that new choice and say, hey, this is my vision and this is the driver, this is what I'm going to latch onto as my motivation to succeed. That's the only support you need. That's the only support you need. So if you're feeling not supported, what you need is to exchange that belief. You exchange that belief system of I'm not supported with the vision, with whatever your vision is, and say, hey, you know what? Me knowing my vision is all the support I need. Because once you have your vision, then your vision is your big motivator. And you know what? You don't need other people's support. Because your vision, even if the whole world supported your vision is still going to be the thing that drives it, whether nobody believes in you or whether everybody believes in you. If you don't believe in your vision, nobody else will. And it doesn't matter.
I want to add to that. You are, like Shamika, like, just to give you a cold dose of reality, you are incredibly supported by being alive, by existing in Mother Nature. Mother Nature designed you to be, alive still, right? You're supported, you're nourished, you have more than enough oxygen, right? You're supported through birth. The 9 months that you were in that womb, you were given all the nutrients that you needed. You were protected. You were this perfect baby that popped out. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, that's massive. Here's a perspective that I want everyone to latch on to. No matter what your vision is, no matter what you're out creating, this is the perspective you got to grab onto. And this is an interesting one. If you look at the human body and you look at we're just looking at I think it was an approximate estimation of all the assets as far as your organs and your just medically, biologically speaking, your aliveness and your physical body is worth medically about $6 million. So just the fact that you're alive, you're worth $6 million. If you got $0 in the bank, you have an asset. And if you don't treat it, if you don't live like you have an asset, then that's a problem. Wow. Because you do have an asset, whether or not you need to tell yourself this over and over, because just the fact that you're alive, you're an asset. And that doesn't even take into consideration your intellectual property. Wow. Look at all the companies that were built out of intellectual property. You can't quantify that. Nature cannot quantify that. Nature cannot quantify, Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak inventing a computer. Nature cannot quantify that. Only life in the modern commercial sector can quantify that in terms of value. Right.
I also want to mention to Shamika, I know you have some particular challenges and set of disabilities that you have to deal with. And what I want you to focus on is that you are supported in being your greatest possible self, in healing, in growing, in thriving through whatever set of circumstances that you've had to deal with up until this point. Right?
Yeah, and I was just to add to that is whatever that vision is, your vision. I mean, you shared it. It was incredible. You have a vision to help people. You have a vision that really goes out. You'll be most supported just by grabbing onto that vision and growing it. Just growing that vision. You'll realize that, hey, that vision is what's giving you life, because it gives you purpose and it gives you meaning. And, the reality is we assign meaning to everything. So when it comes to life, ultimately, we choose. We choose what has meaning. We choose what is real. We choose what is the truth. Now, that's debatable on many levels. That's where science comes in. That's why science exists, is that, we're not always right, and we can, we can compare our truth versus someone else's truth and come up with a consensus fact. But from the perspective of a human being, you choose to be supported or not. And if you need something that's supporting you, get your vision. Your vision will support you beyond anything. And you'll forget about other people supporting you or not. It won't matter. And and then people will want to support you because you're already supported by your vision. People want to be a part of it, because then you're focused on manifesting and creating that vision as a reality. Then everyone will support you because they buy your vision. See, you have to enroll people in your vision, and your vision has to be bigger than you. This was something that I thought about the other day, was that, look, I mean, if, who said it? It was DeMartini who said it. It's like, if you're a beggar and, hey, Chris, man, I'm not doing so hot. Can you give me a couple bucks, man? You just say, no, get out of here. Go figure it out, man. Come on. I mean, maybe you'll have compassion and
right.
But ultimately, look, that vision's not bigger than me. That vision's that's egocentric. That vision's all about me. That doesn't achieve anything. That doesn't inspire anybody. And that's what it comes down to. There's no inspiration in that. Now look at the vision that we manifested with Chris. Hey, we're going to leave this planet so good that we grow and evolve as a human race to the point where we can go inhabit other planets after we've perfected this one. That's a crazy vision. Because it certainly doesn't look like that's the way things are going to go. But it doesn't mean it's impossible. It's still a possibility if enough people latch onto the vision, or if one person latches onto the vision. Gandhi latched onto the vision of India's freedom. One man latched onto the vision of India's freedom and led the bloodless revolution. Wow. It's incredible what you can do by inspiring people through a vision. Anything is possible.
Damn.
Big man.
Damn.
Hey, you know what? If you're not resonating with it, if you're not resonating with some aspect of this message, you got to analyze that. You got to look at it. You got to look at the doubt. You got to look at the questioning. It's okay to question. I'm not saying I know everything. I know virtually. We already established that, we know virtually nothing in comparison to what's knowable in the universe. Even the most intelligent person knows virtually nothing in comparison. So, you can question the validity of everything I say, and it's your right to do so. And I respect anyone for it. All I'm asking is that, kind of, and I think Chris covers this probably in all of his conversations, is just try on these ideas, just try on this conversation and see what transforms for you. Because when you're open to it, when you're open to the possibility of changing something, achieving something new, anything is possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sarah said, the universe will support you, believe. And then we had Denora say, every single person, so this is what she wrote for her post. Every single person inspires me and empowers me to appreciate my life. We are pleased to make our own contribution to make the world a better place. When you buy these projects, Nini Expressions, you're taking steps to protect the environment and help more than 24 of families to have better quality of life. Our mission is to create products to satisfy our customers, have a positive impact on the environment, and make a difference in people's lives by empowering and inspiring them to believe in their natural powers and talents. We hope to expand our mission by increasing the number of artisans and protect the environment by giving a second life to materials that are considered by many as garbage to create our small works of art. May I ask, what do you think? Do you feel my message? Absolutely.
Yeah, not only do I feel your message, but economically, I think there's a lot of people who are feeling that message. There's a lot of companies that are really rising to the occasion through social entrepreneurship, who are actually, because that's what we were talking about before. The guy begging for change, he doesn't have a vision bigger than himself.
Yeah.
She's got this vision way bigger than herself to go help people who are struggling.
Yeah.
She's someone, and at the same time, she's someone who's bought into this vision that we created tonight, which is leave the world better off than we found it.
Yes.
And any support you need in that business, you talk to me or Chris, because we got you. You are so supported in that.
Yes.
There's no other type of business that I personally would want anything to do with than what you're doing. You have a social cause, you're making a difference with people, and you're helping the planet. I think that is the future of business. If everybody found solutions, if everybody found solutions in that realm of social entrepreneurship, I think your vision, this vision of leaving the world better off, I think that would be a very clear pathway for success. I believe it.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Denora, you rocked it. That is beautiful.
Reached the world tonight.
Yes.
It changed the world.
It changed the world. It's interesting because as soon as I started sharing my vision, okay, so the outcome of every marathon, I declare it every hour that every single person who's watching, everyone in the audience, makes a step in the right direction, takes a step in the right direction, makes a connection with one of these guests, or has some kind of meaningful shift in their thoughts, in their ideas, in their mindset, and that every single person who tunes in long enough really gets that, right? So I declare that. That's my outcome for the audience. My outcome for the guests is that each guest meaningfully impacts at least one person with their interview, right? That's like, whether that's taking the next step with them, buying a coaching program, getting a follower, just sharing the idea that resonates with someone, that's the outcome for them. And then for myself, meaningfully impacting at least one person. And then through the efforts that I'm investing here, attracting another client to be a coaching client today, next week, in 5 years, I don't care. But just like that, I'm planting the seeds for that return on investment. So that's really cool.
Hey man, you know what? The way I see it, you're not even going to need it. You keep this show going, man. You just keep it going the way you're doing it. This is all you need.
Yeah.
Something's gonna happen, man. Hey.
Thank you, bro.
Well, you got thousands of followers, man. You got a lot of, and a lot of your guests have a lot of followers too. I got a couple of thousand, and it's really about the genesis of people grasping your vision. Even if it's not your vision, even if it's not theirs, they just see your vision. Hey, even if I don't want to be part of your vision and I see it, I'm like, wow, that's big, man. Like, yes. I support you in that, even if I'm not a part of it. And a lot of times you're just like, wow, it's possible.
Dude, I just keep writing down all this gold. I love it. I love it. This is
changed the world tonight, Chris.
Yeah, dude. It was funny. Colton was on earlier for his interview, and he was just dropping fire, man. Just giving people straight talk, no BS, just take the freaking actions kind of thing. And I was like, that was probably like the best interview of the day. Nope, this one.
Sorry, man. Hey, that's good. Oh, that means whoever's after me, you're just gonna keep topping it, man.
You're the last one, man.
Well, you do this every day, right?
Yeah, every week. Yeah, every Wednesday.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Chris.
Yeah, every day. No.
So how did the day go, man? What else did you cover today? Let's reflect. Today,
oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. So real quick. Denora said, I was able to write this thanks to Chris. You have me, my power, and I still amaze how things flow to my mind. Thank you so much. You are welcome, Denora. You stepped up. Hey, it was all you. I was just here at the right place at the right time to facilitate what you really wanted. And this is just the beginning. Like Brandon said, please reach out to either of us. And like I said, I'll be talking to you. Reach out to Brandon, build a connection with him. I know he'll help you a lot too. We'll both help you out and make it happen. So, yeah, awesome. Today has been epic, man. Had a lot of really great guests on. Dennis Nurmela, he was on at 11 a.m. I'm looking at the lineup right now. Dennis Nurmela was on 11, and he was talking about his yes place. Dude's just massive visions, everybody today. So he was talking about his thing called the Yes Place, a Young Entrepreneur Society, I believe, and it's teaching young people, young kids, how to create their own, how to be entrepreneurs, right? And he plans on having a Yes Place in every city around the world, like a YMCA that teaches entrepreneurship for young kids. And this dude's already successful. This dude's already keynoting around the world, and he's a badass.
We need this. Hey, Dennis, I hope you are still watching and you caught the vision from our conversation tonight. Get in touch, man. Come to Arizona. We need this.
Yes.
I mean, we need it in every state. That's huge. I mean, why do we even think about it? Why do we even have the YMCA when we could have that? why is the YMCA? I mean, no offense, but
you're gonna do some arts and crafts. No, let's go build an empire.
Yeah, it's next level, man. I mean, let's do it. You know what? Really, there's no excuse, man. It's time for things like this to change.
Yes.
It's time for these things to evolve. It's an evolution. We're not making wrong what's there and what's been. We're just looking at, hey, what's possible now?
Yes. Yes.
Like, yeah, kids need a place to go. They're going to go do some arts and crafts and swim or whatever. I don't know what you do at the YMCA, but and I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's charitable and everything's great. But why not? Hey, Dennis, just go partner with them and create a program.
Right. Yeah.
You just need one entrepreneur, man. You just have one entrepreneur make it. One entrepreneur can create 100,000 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
You can change people's lives through one person.
Yeah, dude, he's already sowing the seeds, man. He's rocking it. So yeah, dude, we've had a really great lineup today. Lots of people. I know Kevin Scott shared his vision. Derek was sharing his. I ask everyone to share their vision. You know, where are you going to be in the next year, 5 years, 10 years? Some people have clearer answers than others, but you know, I love giving people that opportunity to paint the picture of the future for themselves and for people, whoever's watching. It doesn't matter, but to just know that, hey, this is going out into the universe, out into the world, out onto the internet. There's like an energetic thing that happens even if there's nobody watching, just knowing that, hey, it's going onto the internet. Like, I said it's already out there. You know, it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's almost like the modern concept of the Akashic records, right?
Yes.
It's recorded in history, but this time it's actually for real, and who knows what kind of data mining can be done to pull it up.
Oh my gosh.
Whole different conversation.
Yeah.
But hey, man, Chris, this was it, man. You made it happen tonight. You really created a space for me to share what was important to me, to get out and share with people. And as always, hey, man, you just created some amazing things. I mean, you created a new vision tonight.
New vision for me too, man. Oh my god, that's like, woo.
Yeah. So
now it's about continuing to share it, right? Shamika, whoever's watching, if you don't share the vision with more people, if you keep it to yourself, it'll die with you. It will die. It'll die so fast. Possibility dies so fast. But when you share it, when you enroll other people in it, when you get their buy-in, even if they don't agree, it doesn't matter. But the fact that you get good and better at sharing it, you keep putting it out into the world because you're so committed to it, because you're so dedicated to it, because it's that important to you that no matter what anybody thinks or anybody says, you're still going to keep sharing it. You're still going to keep living into that future. That's what really creates an unstoppable vision, is sharing it. And I'm pretty sure there's beliefs that some people have on, maybe you just keep it to yourself so that you can manifest it yourself. I think it's the more people that you share it with who believe in it, who hear that and resonate with it, the more likely it is to happen.
Yeah. And look, not everyone has to agree with you either.
Yeah.
I mean, just go watch the movie Gandhi. Look, a lot of people wanted what Gandhi wanted, and they bought his vision, and they supported him, and they became part of it. Yeah. And obviously, he had an adversary. The British government, they wanted India, they wanted to take over, they didn't want to give it up. Yeah. So there was a strong adversary there, but his vision was big enough, and he conquered it. So just by having the vision, it was one man with a vision. One man with a vision. I mean, India's almost 2 billion people. It's a populous country. Wow. One man with a vision changed it. One person's vision.
Wow. Let's
And
go.
So it all comes down how bad do you want it? How much do you hold on to that vision? Because that vision is your motivator, and that limiting belief is your quick ticket to your fate.
Wow.
Boom.
Dude, Brandon Taracco, one of the best interviews ever that I've ever been on, that I've ever heard, that I've ever, that I'm sure I'll ever do. So this has been awesome, man. Super grateful to have you on here, creating the space with me, co-creating God, universe, source, channeling both of us to bring out both of our greatness and deliver this message that was needed to be shared for both of us, through both of us, to the internet and everybody who is listening, man. Super blessed.
Absolutely, Chris. I can't thank you enough, man, for letting me share.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, let's keep shining, keep kicking butt, keep growing, and having a lot of fun, trusting the universe, being in love, being a service, and making the world a better place so that we can go do this on even more planets.
Let's do it, man.
Yes. 100% serious. Promise. Promise.
Love it.
Yes.
Love it. That's the kind of conviction that you need.
Yes.
And that means you've made the choice, and nobody's going to stop you.
It's done, dude. It's done.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
No one's going to stop you. The choice is yours. You've made the choice.
Yep.
Hey, man.
All right, Brandon. Well, we'll catch you on a future episode, man. Been an absolute pleasure, and we'll see you soon.
All right, brother. Have a good night.
All right, you too, man. Take care.
See ya.